So everyone, well, not everyone, but most people hate PowerPoint demonstrations. So I'll use Notepad today. So just a few general lines. Reference management in general means that you get to automate the progress by which you put citations or references into your writing. So the basic, how should I say, the basic process is the same with all the reference programs. So you start by getting all the references from all the platforms that you have. So if you're using books, you need to have the references from the books. And if you're using databases or articles, you need to have those. And you put them in the reference management program. In our case, it's going to be Zotero. And the general idea is that everything that you cite has to be in the reference management program. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And then once you've done that, you can automatically put them in the, or they are transferred to your word processor. So you don't need to type in everything. You need to check that the info is correct, of course, but you don't need to type it out. So it's a simpler process. Although I know that this demo is very hard to watch because for most of you, this will be new. So it will look like a lot of work, but it isn't. It's very simple. There's a learning curve, of course. And one thing that's really great, especially with starting scholars, is that it allows you to change the reference style with only 2 or 3 clicks. So you can submit your article to one journal, like, I don't know, Science or Lancet, and then they'll say, yeah, this is not for us. So you can switch the style to some other journal style and then resubmit it. You don't have to change everything by hand. So this is the same for all the reference management programs. So we have a lot of them in the world, and there's 3 that we sort of have a support system in-house. So RefWorks, which is licensed, it's not a freeware, and then Mendeley, which is free but not open source, and Zotero, which is completely open source. So these are the ones that we sort of recommend. I would recommend Zotero, of course. I'm in love with it, but you get to decide. They all work pretty much the same. So if you don't like Zotero, you can always switch and the learning will be so much easier. So there's info about it on the guides. You have this link in the course, in the Moodle area. And one thing I should say is that there is more information about Mendeley and RefWorks in our guide than there is information about Zotero. And this is because Zotero's own support is very good. So we didn't sort of want to do it twice. But if you speak Finnish, there is a Zotero guide in Finnish because we wanted to sort of have people use it even if English is not their preferred language. So there's a PDF guide for all the Finnish speakers here. And Zotero can be, I'm going to be using an English version of the program, but it can be downloaded in Finnish as well. It has been translated. So what did I have? Yeah. So why Zotero? These are the main differences. All the programs work pretty much the same, but these are some differences that I've been able to work out. So it's an open source. That means that it's a reliable product. It's not something that it has I think it has a long lifespan, I would hope. Mendeley changes a lot. RefWorks changes quite a bit. So once you use Zotero, you sort of, it's a more stable program, I think. And there is a good amount of support online. It's very widely used. It doesn't require a university affiliation like RefWorks, although I have to say that with RefWorks, you can use it as an alum. So you can keep on using it even after you exited the university. And Zotero is free of charge-ish, because if you wish to use it, if you wish to use Zotero's cloud service and you wish to have a lot of data there, it's going to cost you a couple of dollars a year or something. But I would say that for most users, it's completely free. Zotero has a lot of features and options. So it's a very customizable program. I'm just going to be showing you the tip of the iceberg, but you don't need to know all the options to use it well. One thing Zotero lacks is a PDF reader. So especially Mendeley is really great for reading PDFs and making notes on them. So this is something that Zotero lacks. So if you want a great PDF reader sort of in the program, Zotero isn't perhaps the one for you. It's great for review articles. It has a great, like when you need to report your duplicates, when you need to make searches in multiple databases and sort of document your searches. I would say Zotero is the best program for it. So for like if you're doing a systematic review, you might need additional resources, but I would say that Zotero is the best you can get for free. And it doesn't require an account. You can have an account if you wish to use Zotero on multiple computers. So if you already know that you're going to be using a work computer, a home computer, some other computer, you might want to register. But I won't be showing it today because I haven't registered. I don't care for it. So it's possible. And if you wish to work in a group, you also probably should register. But I won't be showing it today. I will be focusing on solo use on solo computers, just because we don't have enough time for everything. But Zotero does require a downloadable program, so it's not completely on the cloud. It doesn't have to be on the cloud at all. So that's one thing you need to have. The good news is that you can have it on a Windows machine, a Linux machine, a Mac, and from what I know, they all work equally well. And you can also, today we're going to be focusing on Word, using it on Word, but LibreOffice is fine, Google Docs is great, and there are third-party plugins for LaTeX and InDesign, should you wish to use those, and RStudio and other programs. But one thing it doesn't support is Pages. So if you're using a Mac and you're using Pages, I think Pages is sort of a, what should I say? It's locked in. You can't really access it. So that's why it's not supported. So this was the sort of important bit, but not that important. Today we're going to be focusing on how to use Zotero itself. So please please just watch, and if you've already downloaded Zotero, you can of course try it yourself at the same time, but I will be going through these issues quite quickly if I can. So once you want to download Zotero, what should you do? The address is zotero.org. You can Google it if you want to. And there's a download link right at the beginning. And there's also the link that says documentation, includes all the support. So there's a quick start guide and getting help and all that. So there's a lot of resources, but if you wish to download it, it looks like this. It recognizes the browser and the operating system that you're on. So there are options, of course, but usually it's as is. And it's the one on the left that you need to download. The one on the right is the usual browser plugin. I won't be talking about it much today, but it's something that you might want to download, especially if you want to use Google Docs, or if you have a lot of sources that are not in the databases. So it might be useful for you. But today we're going to be focusing on the Zotero proper. And once you download it, it looks like this. And it's also, if you have a university computer, it's downloadable in Software Center, so you can find it from there. So I've emptied out my Zotero, so this is what it looks like. You don't need to register anywhere if you don't want to. There's a registration link at the website. There's register if you want to register, and it looks like this. So right now it's completely empty. And as I said, you need to have everything you want to use in your article or thesis or whatever in Zotero for it to work. So let's start by importing a lot of stuff today. And I'm assuming that you already have some sources. So I'm going to start by using the sources that one might already have in the computer, on the computer. So of course there's a, sorry about the small size of the buttons, unfortunately it can't be helped. So there's a new item button over here. It's also under file, there's a new item button. And once you click it, you get to choose the type of thing you want to import, the type of thing. If you have a book section, for example, you get to choose that one, and then you fill out everything manually. But of course, we don't want to do that. We don't want to spend time typing out everything. But especially when it comes to book sections, it sometimes might be that there is, especially with like Finnish books, it might be that there aren't they aren't online, they aren't in databases. So in that case, you do have to type them out, but usually you don't have to bother with this at all. So if you have articles, I have article here. If you have like a list of articles and they include the DOI, that's very good. That's a great way to start. So if you have the digital object identifier of any article, that's a great way to get them to Zotero. So there's a magic wand here, an actual magic wand, and it says add items by identifier. And if you click it, it says enter ISBNs, DOIs, Pubmed IDs, or archive IDs. And if you have any of those, it should work. So here I would assume that this is an article that I already have as a reference, and that's all. And I don't want to look it up online. I just want to get it to Zotero. So I put the DOI there and I click enter and I wait. Sometimes it's really quick, sometimes it takes a bit more time, and here it is. So just with the DOI, I got the article to work in Zotero. So there's a title, there's a creator, and it even shows that I have an attachment here. So sometimes they already bring the PDF with them. It might be the sort of open access version, so a submitted version of the article, not the like the final draft, but it might not be the actual article, but these are legal, so you can use them. You don't have to worry about the legality of these. And there's a view PDF link here if you click with the other mouse button. So you can see view PDF. You can also view online. This should bring it. This should show it in the usually in the publishers page. And of course, you can add your own attachments if you like. So if you already have the file there, you can add a link to it, for example. So this looks great. This is like excellent. Everything's here. So there's the item type. This is very important because it shows, it will let you know how it is going to show as in Word. So if this one is wrong, probably it won't show. All right. So check that the item type is okay. This is the one field that most often goes wrong once importing. So it might say report instead of journal article, for example. So, and you can switch it up. So if you notice that, no, this is not an article, this is a book, you can of course click on the book and it changes. And all the other information here is also completely editable. So you can edit everything. You can add writers, authors, if you notice that there's someone lacking, and so on. So the important thing is to check that all the information is pretty much correct. So there's the publication, there's the volume, there's the issue, there's the pages. You don't need to have everything here. It doesn't always matter what it says, but if there's a clear sign that no, it's not issue 12, it's issue 11, you have to change it. So make sure to check that the information is correct. Just compare this information to the information that's on your PDF or on the website. So that's the simplest way to add with DOI. Books don't usually have those. So we also have an ISBN here. And that's also something you can use if you have a book that you need to import to Zotero. Just like go to Zotero, Google the book or something and find out the ISBN. And once you do that, it's the same process, just enter ISBN, and click enter, and here it is. What color is your parachute? A practical manual for job hunters and career changers. This is completely random. I just picked it up somewhere. So it has some information here, publisher date. I think this is all we need. Of course, if it's a part of series, you probably should have the series, so on. There isn't a PDF here, there isn't any attachments, which is understandable since it's a book. And you can see here that the icon is different, so that tells that it's a book. And you can, of course, change it if it's not a book, if it's a report or something. Or a thesis. There is a thesis here also. And let's see, did we have something else? Yeah, also a PDF. It doesn't say it here, but PDF is something. You probably have some PDFs on your computer already. So let's just bring one. Sorry, I have a lot of things open right now. Yeah. So here I have a PDF. Like I downloaded it online. It's an open access article. And if you have like a scanned PDF, this won't work. If it's like a very rudimentary with little information, it can't probably read it. It'll bring it here and then you have to fix the information yourself. But this one I downloaded online, so it should be able to sort of read the fields of it. So I'll just drag and drop it here, like this, and then I'll wait. Oh, it was really quick this time. It's not always that quick. It might take a couple of minutes. But here we can see parachute used to prevent death and major trauma and so on, systematic review article. There's the abstract, there's the writers. Of course, you need to check these, cross-reference whether these are correct or not. Publication is lacking. So you should find out what the publication is. Right now we have it's an easy thing to do since we have a PDF here. So we'll just check it. Hazardous journeys. There it says BMG. So this is basically how you do it. You just check that the publication information is correct. And if it's not, you need to add the information yourself. Most of the time, these come out pretty well, but especially with PDFs, it's not always able to sort of access all the information. Yeah, so you need to fix those. And one way to sort of make sure that you fixed everything you need to fix is in the end, once you're pretty much finished with your citation or the reference list of your article or whatever, you just go through it and check if there's something funny about it. So these are the ways that you can bring information that you already have. And this is quite common once you've really collected a lot of reference material already. But what's really great is that you can sort of combine the search process with the data management or reference management process. So I'll show you how it's done. Basically, what I mean is that once you search something in the databases, you can also import it at the same time. So we have a lot of databases to cover, just to make sure that pretty much all the basic ones are covered. And let me know if you at the end or at some point if you wish to have a if you wish to see how it's done in some other database. The magic words here are RIS and BIBTE. So once you find this one or this one in any database, you'll know that you can import it to RevWorks, import it to Zotero, no problem. And there are other ways. If you can't find these magic words, don't lose hope, but these are the ones that we'll be using today. So I already have my search phrase here, and it's a very basic one. Please don't use it as an example of a great one. And I have a list of databases. It's from the psychology guide, but it really doesn't matter. I just chose it because it has a nifty list of every database here. So let's start with Academic Search Premier, which is on the EBSCO platform, just because the process is same for all EBSCO databases. So once you know how to do it here, you know how to do it in PsycInfo or CINAHL or whatever your database in EBSCO. So I have my search phrase. I'm gonna search. Fear of clowns is the search here today, but usually I get a lot of results that aren't really relevant. But we're not gonna be focusing on that today. We're going to be getting these to Zotero. So I want to bring, let's say I want to bring the first 20 because there are 20 results on the first page. So no, there are actually, I can bring all the results. So let's bring all the results. So this is how you do it in EBSCO. There's a link called share here. You click add to folder, results 1 through 23. And there's a folder, like it says here. If you have registered, if you have an account in EBSCO, this is a permanent folder. This is a folder for you, but usually people don't bother. So this is sort of like a session folder. The information is collected there for like, I don't know, a couple of hours and then it disappears. So it's just a place where everything you selected goes. And it says here if you want to use them in future sessions, sign in and so on. So I have 23 articles in this not permanent folder right now, and I want to take these to Zotero, which is a permanent place to save them. So there's a link called export here, and I click that one, and that's where we can find the magic word RIS format. And it also says Zotero, which is really great. It doesn't always do that. So I don't have to change anything here. And I don't want to remove these just because sometimes something might go wrong. So if I've been really diligent and chosen only the ones that I really want and spend time with them and so on, it would be a waste to have them removed too quickly. But right now I'll just click save. And something, yeah. So in Firefox, it opens a window like this. And sometimes if you already used Zotero, it can figure out that this is a file that Zotero might be interested in. But I usually always save the file. So this is a, how should I say, a safer process for it. So I saved the file. It looks different in Chrome or Safari, I think. But I saved the file. And now it's saved in my computer's download folder with whatever it is. And I go to Zotero and I click File, and there's Import. And after that, it asks a couple of questions. There is no choice here, so it doesn't matter. And then it takes me to the download folder. So here is the file that I just downloaded. It says Research Information Systems, so that's RIS. This is what came from EBSCO. I click Open. I don't change anything here. So it makes a copy of them and it makes a new collection of them. So a new folder inside Zotero. And I click Next. And here it is. So, great. And I can change the name of the folder, or actually it's called a collection in Zotero. And I'll just write down Academic Search Premier, and I'll even put down the date like this. So now I have sort of documented my search. I know that I have brought something from Academic Search Premier this date. And here we can see there are a couple of doubles here. There's some author information missing. It's not a great, not everything came out as it should. But I think we have all the articles that we wanted. It should say 23 articles. Hold on. Yeah, 23 items in this view. Right now I'm inside the Academic Search Premier Academic Search Premier folder or collection. If I want to see everything that I've brought to Zotero, including the articles I brought earlier, this is what it looks like. It's the My Library. This is sort of like the master list of all the articles you've brought or all the references you've brought. Yeah, so this is Academic Search Premier. I've brought everything from there. Now I should really go through them and check if the information is correct or not, because this doesn't look great, to be frank. On the other hand, these aren't all like scientific articles, so that might explain it. I'm not going to do that today, of course, because it's not relevant to us right now, but you should do it at home once you've collected information from a database. So that's EBSCO. That's all the EBSCO platforms. It works the same in all of them. Let's check Pubmed, which is a medical database, very popular with some of you if you're doing bioscience or medicine. And yeah, let's use the same search phrase here. So the process is pretty much the same in all databases. In here, we have 5 results with this great search phrase. And here, the magic word RIS can be, no, actually, yeah, there's a difference in Pubmed, but it's very easy to remember. In Pubmed, it's not RIS, it's not Bibte, it's Pubmed. So once you click Save, you can select all results on this page, and then there's Pubmed. So this is simple in that sense. Or you can select all results if you have multiple pages. But the format is called the same as the database itself. It doesn't really matter that it's called that, because it works just as same as a RIS would. I'm going to be creating a file. I'm going to be saving it. So the process is the same. I'm going to go to Zotero. I'm going to go to File, Import, Next. Here's the Pubmed, Fear of Clown set. I'm going to be opening it. I won't change anything here. And here it is. So 5 articles. Again, you should probably check if the information is correct. And you can see here that there are no PDFs right now, because it doesn't bring PDFs when it just brings the reference information. So you need to access the PDFs in some other way. Sometimes it's pretty easy. There's an option here that says find available PDF. So if it's an open access article, it might actually find it. It did. Oh, great. So sometimes it might find it really easily. Let's see. This is what it looks like. Great. Sometimes it might not find it, but there's an option here that says library lookup or Google Scholar search, so you can access the full text by that way, or just go and find the full text from the database itself. So again, I can change this one if I want to, and so on. So I'll remember which database I used. It might say it here in the info somewhere, but it doesn't today. So I might want to document it for myself. Again, pretty easy, pretty simple. And if you can't remember how these imports work, I just want to show you. There's let's see. In the English version, you can use the Mendeley page. And there's the importing references and articles down here. So even though it says Mendeley, most of these are just the same in Zotero. But basically, you just need to look for the magic word RIS or IPTE or Pubmed. And let's see, what's next? Let's take Proquest. So if you have a Proquest database, like psychology database or linguistics and language behavior or political science database or some other Proquest database, I still have the same search. So a lot of results. Proquest is huge. So I'll just save a couple of these. Usually you can you can choose to save like the full search results, or you can just choose a couple of them. So I'll take this one. This looks like, well, it's a newspaper article, but well, this one looks great. Let's take this one as well. So 3 articles. In Proquest, there's 3 dots here, all save options. And here you can find the magic word RIS. It doesn't say it's Zotero, it doesn't have to. So you don't do anything here except answer the, I hope this is right, the CAPTCHA, and continue. Oh, excellent. This is not how it should go. Let's try it another time. I always have demonstration problems with Proquest. It's great, but it doesn't work in demonstrations. So let's try it once more. So it says RIS. Continue. Fingers crossed. Okay, what is your problem today? Let's try it once more. Sorry about the wait. No. Okay, here it is. 3 dots. Actually, I'm going to refresh the whole search just to see if it works. So it has already selected the ones that I already selected. So 3 dots, RIS, everything's right there. Continue. Hooray! It should work. Usually the process is fairly straightforward in Proquest as well, and now it's here. So save file, same process, save file. Zotero, you open Zotero, you choose file, import, you change nothing, and here it says Proquest this time. You open it, you change nothing, and here it is, 3 articles. Excellent. And it already says Proquest here, but I'll just make a quick change. No, actually, yeah, it's quite fine this way. I'll just take the word documents out. Yeah. There's a question in the chat. I can't see it right now. Please, if you have a question and you need to have it answered right away, just open your mic because I can't access the chat right now for some reason. Okay. So 3 databases done, 3 databases to go. Thanks for your 2 databases to go. So thanks for your patience. So let's take Web of Science, which is multidisciplinary, well known for most of you, I think. And looks like this. The process is almost the same. I'll just, there's 5 results. I'll select them all. There's export here. And here it's called other file formats because you can't see RIS here. You can't see Bibte here. So you need to click other file formats. And the file format is Bibte. So here we don't have RIS, but it doesn't matter. You can use this one. So the magic words RIS or Bibte or Pubmed in Pubmed. So we'll use this one. Click export. Save file. Go to Zotero. File. Import. You know the drill already, I hope. Okay, which one was it? Yeah, it's this one. And here we go. 5 results. Yeah. This one looks interesting. It says conference paper. All right. So it has a different kind of icon, so you can figure out that it's a different type of article. So great. This one's all good. And I'll just name it as, I'll just put WOS here. So as you can see, we are getting a lot of articles very quickly today. And here are them all in my library, or if you click one folder, you get to see what came from which database. And the last one today is Scopus, unless you have some other ideas, which I'm really interested in. But let's try Scopus. And we'll choose this one. So 8 results. It's not like if you I don't know if any of you study psychology or something, but I think fear of clowns is a search topic that hasn't been explored much I always use this as an example, and I never get really good results. So there's like one article. So just in case you need inspiration. Yeah, so I'll choose them all, and there's export. And here it says, well, it says Mendeley, it says RefWorks, but it also says RIS here. So the magic word. It doesn't say Zotero, it doesn't have to. And it asks what information you wish to export. I think this is enough. Actually, I could use the abstract as well. Let's see if it exports it. Like this. The same thing happens. Import. So there it is. Yeah, and it looks like there's a, most of them do have the abstract with them. And here's the book section actually. So again, another kind of reference. So we have five different databases that we've used. And this was a very, very quick review of what there is. Yeah, someone's opened the mic. Do you have a question?
Hi, this is Taina. Thanks for your presentation. This looks like very easy, but I have struggled a couple of times. But I would like to see if you have time to show with the Sinal. Is it
Sinal.
easy? Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, Sinal is actually exactly the same as Academic Search Premier.
Okay.
Yeah, so it works the same. Since it's in EBSCO, let me just show you. I'll just choose one of the EBSCOs. Let's take PsycInfo, for example. So here you can see, if you go through, you can find the Sinal link itself from the guides.
Yeah.
But I was in the psychology guide, so it doesn't show up there. So it looks the same, basically.
Okay.
So you click, and then you either choose them one by one.
Yeah.
Or choose all of them, and then you go to folder, and then it says export, and then it comes here, save, and so on. So it's exactly the same as any other EBSCO, but we'll do it till the end. So it was which one is it? This is the hard part when you download them all. It's this one. It's the most recent date modified. So let's use this one. And here is the new one. And then we'll just rename it as Sinal. So if you use Sinal in EBSCO, as I think nursing people do, then you can just follow the same guideline. Academic Search Premier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have also quite short search term. Normally, what I have quite a long, so
yes,
it's not so. It will take a little bit more exercise.
Yeah. So do not do not look at my search terms. It's very simple today.
Yeah.
So
I understand.
So there are six databases that we've searched from, as you can see. So there are a couple of things we might want to do. For example, we might want to look at these already inside Zotero. We might do some, I don't know, data management, should I say. Like, for example, I know this article is really great and I've read it already in the database. And now I want to tag it. I want to put my own info in it. There's a lot of tags here. These are like the same thing as in Instagram or whatever, Twitter or whatever tag you use. So they usually come, if there are tags already in the database, they are usually imported. So that's why there are a lot of tags you can see here. So if you want to, you can sort of organize this even with, you can use the different folders, or you can organize them by tags. So for example, I know that this is a great article, so I'm just going to write it here that I'm going to be using it in my PhD. Great. So, or I could write that I'm going to be using it in the introduction. So what I like to do, just to separate my own tags from the database tags, is that I usually like put some sign on front of it, in front of it, like here, and then I'll just write PhD. Great. So now there's a new tag here. It came up here, and I can even decide to color it, so I'll find it more easily. So here is my new tag. Like here you can see the asterisk is there. So these are organized by alphabetically. So that's why I put the little tiny line there. Or I could add another one. This one is okay. This is a good one too. So I can use my own tag. For example, it tells about adults, for example. This isn't about adults, it's about kids. So it's about, no, this isn't about kids, it's about adults. So I can use these tags however I like. If I want to tell something about the article itself, about the scope of the article, I can use the tag for it. Or if I want to use the tag to tell myself whether I should use it in something, what use it is for me, I can choose a different tag. And you can add these tags to different articles as well. So this is great for my PhD. So I'll just drag and drop it to the tag, and now it has the same tag. And then once I'm in my library, for example, and I'm trying to remember, oh, I had this great article for my PhD, I can't remember where it's found. I have the tag here and I can click it. And there are all the articles I've tagged. So tags are great for organization as well. And especially if you have if you're doing a more systematic review, if you need to report how many results you got from different databases, I would recommend that you use a tag that's the database that you found the information in. So I'll show you. For example, here the database is Scopus. So I'll make a new tag called Scopus. And I'll choose all of these articles and add the Scopus tag to them. So now I can always say how many Scopus articles I have, even when I've sort of removed all the doubles that I have. This is, I always recommend the RIS or BibTeX or Pubmed way of importing, because it's, for me, I found it the most reliable way there is. But as I said, there is also a Zotero Connector, and this is great, especially if you have like YouTube videos, if you have newspaper articles that you're going to be using in your reference list. So this is this sort of like if you download it and you go to a page anywhere on the internet and you click on the button, that the Zotero Connector button, it'll transport the page or the YouTube video or whatever to your Zotero. So that's one way of doing it. Some people even use it in databases, but I don't really like it there. I think it's not reliable enough. But if you don't want to type, if you know that you have a video, a YouTube video that you're going to be using and you don't want to type, you can just go to the YouTube video page and click on the connector. So this isn't obligatory. You don't need to download this, but it might be useful for you. Okay, so, but I think it says we have 48 items altogether. That's a fairly small amount, even though we did a lot of work here. But you might have hundreds or even thousands if you're really into it. And as long as you're using your own computer, there is no trouble. You can have as many items as you like. If you're using multiple computers, or if you're co-working with someone and you need to use the cloud service, the data is free of charge. You can have as much data as you want, so as much reference information. But if you wish to store PDFs, there is a limit. So if you have a lot of PDFs that you want to bring to the cloud, it's going to be it's going to cost you some dollars a year. So so just be mindful of that. If you know that you're going to be if you want to have PDFs in a cloud service instead of on your own computer. Yeah, so we brought a lot of stuff here. So now we are going to go and do some writing. And one thing that I should say is that I've done this very straightforwardly. I've imported stuff and now I'm going to write. But of course, it's usually the other way around. You write some, you find some sources, you write more, and then you realize you still need one source and so on. So you can do that. You don't have to have everything here before you write. Otherwise, it would be really hard. But Zotero is most useful if you're like if you already have 50 pages and references in your PhD thesis. You're going to have a lot of trouble sort of adding all the references afterwards. So I think the most useful way to use Zotero is to start using it before you start writing. But you can always go between Zotero and the word processor. So there isn't like if you've written 50 pages with Zotero and then you realize, oh, I need one more source, you can always get that source. So don't worry about that. So before we go, though, I would like to do one thing more. As you can see, we have a lot of doubles here. We've gone to different databases and the different databases have had the same article here. So I'm going to erase those doubles. And how it's done is that there is a separate link called duplicate items here. And it's an automatic process. And here it shows all the different doubles that we have, or triples in some cases. And here you can see, like, it shows the two ones. It shows how different or similar they are. This one looks clearly the same article. And if it's the same article, you can just choose merge. So click on the merge and it disappears. And what happened is that it's still in both the folders. So I didn't check which folders it was in, but the numbers in the folders haven't changed. The amount of articles hasn't changed, but the My Library number has changed. It was 48, now it's 47. So you can sort of think these as a playlists of different songs in Spotify or whatever. And this is the master list. So one article can be in many folders, but it's only once in the My Library. So that's the thing we want to check. And of course, I'm going to be going through this really quickly. But of course, you should probably spend some time or be mindful about whether these are actually doubles, or it might be that they share, for example, the title. Sometimes in book reviews, for example, the title might be the title of the book, but you can see the creators are different. So that means that the same book has been reviewed in multiple journals, for example. So in that case, do not merge them. Just merge them if you're quite sure that the information is similar. So this looks great. As you can see, in some databases, the names are complete. In some databases, it's only the first initial. So I'll choose the one that I want to use that has all the names. I'm merging them. Again, the information looks similar. I'm merging them. Yeah, it's fine. So let's just merge them all. So here we can see now it's 34. So a lot of articles have disappeared, but they are still in all the folders. And if there are tags that are that come from different, like how should I say? The tags have also merged. So no tag has disappeared. But if there's been one tag in one folder and another tag in another folder, now the tags are both the same. And this is useful when you're doing a review and you need to report. For example, I can tell that these two have been in Scopus, even though this is a Proquest folder. So I can tell from which databases they've come. Yeah. So what we have now is that we have a master list and all the articles are here just once, hopefully. And now we're going to go to Word. Again, a lot of different word processes work. I have Word here, so I'm going to be using it. And here you can see the Zotero link here. So it's a plugin that's been downloaded to Word at the same time as you downloaded Zotero. So 9 times out of 10, when you download Zotero, you also get a Zotero plugin in Word. So you don't have to download it separately. However, 1 time out of 10, or if you're using Office 365, you're going to have more trouble and you can't find this. And if you can't find this, just contact us. Or there are a lot of, like you can Google Office 365 and Zotero or something, but you can also contact us. So this isn't, it's usually there, but if you can't find it, just let us know and we'll fix it for you. It's a simple fix, but I won't go into it right now. So, but this is what it looks like. Regular Word. I'm just going to start writing my PhD. And then inspiration strikes. I'm writing like mad. So here. And now I realize, okay, this is the point where I need to have a reference. So I go to Zotero. And I have Zotero open here. If it's not open, it doesn't matter. It just asks you to open Zotero as well. And here are a couple of buttons I'm going to use. Add edit citation. So, and first time I do that, there is a pop-up window that asks me which citation style I'm going to be using. Oh, it's so hard to get it show correctly. But let's not bother with this one. Like, of course, if you know already that you're going to be using APA, for example, or you're going to be using American Medical Association, you can select it. You can select the language. This is for, I don't know, once you have, like, does it say and others, or does it say the same in Finnish, for example, if there are multiple authors and so on. But these can be changed afterwards. So you don't have to commit to anything. And if you just panic and click OK, that's fine too. I won't change these. This is all fine for me. So now that I want to add a citation, a small Zotero window pops up. And it looks like this. And if I remember the article or the writer, I can just type it in and click on the right one and click enter. And there it is. So now I have a citation and it's not regular regular text. It's code. It's a link to Zotero. So here it is. And I'll show it to you again. I'm again, inspiration strikes. Add citation. I can't remember the writer, but I'm sure it was about clowns. So now I can see there are a lot of options. It was this one, of course. And I select it. And there's another citation. Or I can, if I'm thinking, no, it wasn't this one, I can go click on add edit citation again, and I can remove it. Or I can add a page number if I want to, page 15 in this article. Or I can add an entirely different article, although I can't do it right now because it's... so I can click add edit citation and search for another article. And it automatically organizes them by the writers in this style. So you can see here I have 2 different articles that I've cited, and there's a page number for the second one. Or I can write more, and I can write says Mary and others. And now, since I already have written the name, I can go and add citation, but it looks really boring if it just says Mary again. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to suppress the author and click enter. And now it's only the year. But the basic rule is anytime I cite, I need to use the link to Zotero. And if I realize that, no, I didn't actually get this from Mary, this was my whole own idea, I'm not going to cite anyone, I can just remove it. So you need to make sure that you remove all of it. As you can see, it's gray here, or deeper gray. So you need to remove all of it, so it doesn't sort of stay there. And now if I realize, no, I really actually meant to say him or her, I'll just click on it and I'll suppress the author and add a page number. I don't know, it depends on whatever your page, your style is, whether you need to use page numbers or not. So this is the basic technique for adding citations. I'll show it to you one more time. Here, and then click add edit citation. Again, maybe something about fear. It was this one. As you can see, some of the citations that we've already used appear in the beginning of the list. But this one, it was this one actually. Yeah, let's take this one. And one more thing, if I need to add a period, a punctuation mark inside the parentheses, I can do that as well. So here we have prefix and suffix, and basically these are the ones that mean ones that allow you to edit the citation a bit. So usually you shouldn't write anything here yourself. You should only let it do it automatically. But for example, here I can write C. So see this article for whatever. And I can also like put a punctuation mark there. And again, click enter. So it looks like this, and it's still all code. So this is very important that it's all code. And if you do see that, no, this is not correct, the name isn't Titsi, it's something else, you can go to Zotero and you can change it there. So I'll look for there's the writer, there's the article. So the name is not correct. It should be end with an L, Titzel, for example. So I need to switch it here. I can't do it in Word. I need to make sure the information is correct in Zotero. I'll go back to Word And I'll actually click refresh here. So the L appears. So now it's correct here. Or incorrect as it's really teachable, but you know. And whenever I want, it doesn't have to be like right away, or it can be right away. If you want to watch your bibliography grow in front of your eyes, you can click it right away, but just make sure that your pointer, your cursor is where it should be, and then there's add edit bibliography, and you click on it, and ta-da, there is the whole bibliography. It looks for these articles that are here in gray. So if something's not in gray, if you've written something yourself, nothing happens. You can refresh all you like, but nothing shows. So this is important. Make sure that your references come from Zotero, are linked to Zotero. So, and this updates automatically. So if I choose another one, another citation, actually, let's make sure. So this one, for example, it shows up here. So now there's a new citation because I put it there. And the process again is automatic, but if something looks wrong, click refresh. Go to Zotero to fix things and then click refresh. And now if you have, like this is the article, this is your article actually. And this is what you send to Lancet. And then they say, yeah, that's great, but it's not for us. So you need to switch the style of the article. So here is a link called Document Preferences. And here you can see it's the same pop-up that showed up earlier. So there's a lot of different styles. I can select Nature, for example. Lancet didn't like the article, but maybe Nature will. And I can, of course, manage styles. So there are a lot of styles. There are thousands of them. I think 8,000 or something. So you can just try to find get additional styles. Try to find new additional styles. But we'll use Nature. It doesn't do anything. Let's see. Is Nature no, it didn't stick. Okay, let's use Nature. It changes, as you can see. So now they are like these little numbers here. So as you can see, it's a simple process in a way because you can switch between styles very easily. One thing more that I need to show is once you add edit citation, and now you're hitting a blank. You can't remember what the article was about, where it was, whatever happened. You can of course go to Zotero and look it up or again and then write it down here. But there's also an option of classic view. So this one brings up a smaller version of Zotero, and here you can actually access the folders that you have. So I can remember it was this one, and I can select OK. So it makes a different one. So that's one option. But I've noticed that usually I do remember what I was supposed to cite, so I'll just click and then write it down here. Like this. So now we have a lot of citations. We have the right style. Everything looks great. What I would like to, this is quite important. This is, there are a couple of things you need to remember from this session, or I hope that you will remember. One is the fact that don't change anything here. It doesn't work. It doesn't stick. So if you notice that something wrong here, you need to change it in Zotero. That's one thing. And the other one is that you should make copies always, and you should make copies with the Zotero links and without. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it in my desktop, and my article sounds great. So I'm saving it here. Now it says my article. Great. So here we can see everything's gray. The links are working. It's all fine. And this is a version that you should always have on your computer until you, I don't know, decide that you're never going to write anything again. So this is the version that you edit, basically. But when you want to send this to a paper, when you want to send it to your supervisor, for example, you might want to get rid of the links because they might go wrong once once you use if the person who's going to be reading it has a different manager, different reference manager, or maybe doesn't have Word at all or something, it might look a bit weird. So it's also important to learn how to remove these links. And for that, I'm going to be saving it again. I'm going to use desktop, and now I'm going to be writing no codes. I could also write like final or to supervisor or whatever, but just make sure that you know which one has the codes or links to Zotero and which one doesn't. So I'm saving another version of this. So right now I have a version called my article no codes. So this is the version that I'm using right now, and I do have the code still, so I'm going to be removing them. And it's very simple. There's a button here that says Unlink Citations, and it says remove all Zotero field codes and unlink from Zotero library. This cannot be undone. So if you don't have a version with the codes, you're going to be losing your you're going to be losing your ability to edit it using Zotero. So for example, if I click it, it says removing field codes will prevent Zotero from updating citations and bibliographies. Are you sure you want to continue? So yeah, I know that. I'm prepared, and I click OK, and the codes just disappear. So right now I can, if at this point I notice that no, I wasn't really supposed to put the DOIs in the reference list, I can just remove them. For example, I can write whatever I like here. I can write anything anywhere. I can fix like if I notice a mistake at this point, I can fix it by hand. Although I do have to make sure that I'll fix it on both points, and so on. So this is just regular boring text right now. And if now I realize I send this to my supervisor, and I realize, and the supervisor says, oh, that's great, but you actually have to have this sentence here, and you have to have a reference there or something like that, and I need to add a reference. I can't do it. I can of course try to add a reference, but it won't appear. Actually, let's do that. So this is a new reference, and I've added it here, and it's gray, but it doesn't show up in the bibliography. So it's gone from there. I can't do anything for it. Of course, I can make a new bibliography, and then I can sort of like how should I say, copy and paste it from here to here and so on, but it's not a complete system anymore. So you need to make sure that you know what you're doing when you're removing the codes. This looks like, as you can see, it's not the end of the world if you don't have a coded version of the article, but it does make it a bit more sort of difficult to follow whether you have, where are the codes, what aren't codes, and so on. So yeah. Okay, I think I've covered everything, all the main points and way more. I hope I haven't, I hope you're still sort of like with me in some way. And more things I would like to show. Just a few things you need to remember. Once you have stuff here, make sure that it's correct. Make sure it looks the way you want it to look. Make sure that the things here are sort of like what you want them to be. Remember to deduplicate. Remember to get rid of the duplicate items. It's because if you don't get rid of them, you might get duplicates in your bibliography as well. So it might sort of like, you might accidentally bring up the same article twice or something like that. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying. So make sure that you deduplicate. Use tags if you want to. You can have as many libraries as you want to. Actually collections they are called. So if you want to, for example, make another collection that says what introduction. So you know this is the one that you want to use when you're writing the introductions. You can make it doesn't have to come from a database. You can make a folder here, and then you can just drag and drop articles into it. If you face trouble, if you feel like something's wrong, or if you want to sort of, if you've removed something and now you're wondering it wasn't actually a double or something, the trash folder contains everything that you've gotten rid of. So that's no problem. You can sort of like fix things afterwards. And yeah, make sure everything's right here. And once you go to Word, make sure that you know whether you have the codes or not. Those are practically the main points. And I think that's it. There are a lot of options and tools and a lot of help here. So you can always go to the help pages. And a lot of features I haven't really gone into. So if you like stuff like this, you can look at them yourself. And should you have any questions, you can of course ask them right now, but these are the pages you can check. So zotero.org/support, which can be accessed through Zotero as well. And this is our email, tietopalvelu@utu.fi. So you can send us an email if something's wrong. We might be able to help, or sometimes we might actually say that we don't know. But it's always easier to ask someone else first and then try to figure it out yourself. I would say that Zotero generally doesn't need that much fiddling with. It's pretty straightforward to use, and at least until now I haven't heard people having like huge problems with it. So I should hope that the situation stays the same. But yeah, I think this concludes my demo. And does anyone have any questions at this point, or want me to show something else?